con muchas ganas. I hope you're here with bells on, ready to learn some English, while I challenge you with references from pop culture and so much more. Folks,
T-10,
you know what
9,
time it is.
8, 7,
Let's get going.
5,
Pongámonos en
4,
marcha.
3, 2,
All aboard.
0.
Let's do this.
Ignition. Liftoff.
Come on.
Liftoff. 30 minutes after the hour.
Get ready. Hold on to your hats. Strap on your seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelts. Hold on to your hats. Get ready for the ride of your life. The show with no name time on Vaughn Radio. It's a show with no name. It's the show. Let's go. Welcome aboard. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting edition of the show with no name here on Vaughn Radio, where we've been coming at you live for over 15 years at this time slot. You say franja horaria? We say ranura de tiempo, time slot, S-L-O-T. And if you know this word, if you listen to the Las Vegas episode of FYI, you'll know a tragaperras is called a slot machine. Why? It's got a slot where you put the coin in. ¿Y cómo se dice introducir moneda? We don't say introduce. Introduce is coin, Alberto. Alberto, coin. Hi, nice to meet you. Piensa. Insert coin. ¿No? ¿Y cómo se dice acabado? Terminado. You can't say finished. No me vale. Over. The class is over. ¿Y de dónde sacamos eso? De game over. So we can learn from everything. From video games, from movies, from music. And we do all that here on the show with no name. And don't forget, folks, the show with no name is just one of the many amazing shows you can listen to if you download the free Vaughn Radio app.
Howdy, Richard Vaughn here, founder and host of Vaughn Radio. Meet my amazing team.
Hello there, this is Julia from the Let's Get Random show. Let's navigate life together, practicing our English.
Hi, this is Kyle Miller. I present the Drive Time Show every day at 6 o'clock on Vaughn Radio.
Hi, this is Jimena.
Y yo soy Nacho.
And you can listen to us every day on Test Your English
A las 12:30.
at 12:30. Tune in.
This is Fitz from No Excuses. Let's get ready to rumble. Come rumble with me on No Excuses.
This is Chris with Frankly Speaking. The doors open every night at 7:30. Let's talk soon.
Hi, this is Dave Boyes from The Salad. Join us every day, live at 5.
Hey, it's Alberto Alonso from the show with no name. And don't forget about Rob, Andy, Ruby, and Tino.
Download our free app, Vaughn Radio or Vaughn Radio. And learn English with all of us on the go.
Question of the week. A nice round of applause to everybody who participated in last week's question of the week. And if you remember correctly, we didn't get around to hearing all of you because thankfully we had so many people participating this past week that it was overwhelming. But thank you once again. And I'm so glad that this exercise is working. It's really nice to hear from all of you as well. And aside from that, I honestly think that you're all really, really improving. You're speaking, which I'm your teacher, right? You know what's the most important thing for me? For you, as far as you're concerned, en cuanto a ti como alumno, speaking. I don't care if you can write. I'm not interested. Because if you can write, it doesn't mean you can speak, right? If you can speak, well, you can learn to write. Think about how we learn our own languages, right? And that's, I think, one of the reasons Spain was, I say, behind the rest of the world with that, because of that, because the educational system back then focused on written English. And why are we learning a language? To say it aloud, right? To be heard, to be able to talk, to be able to negotiate, to be able to make friends. It's not all about business either. So, my amigos, all right, well, let's hear from the two people we couldn't hear from last week. The first one is Kubla.
Sup, Kubla speaking. I hardly ever have a hard day, but if I do, I take it in stride. As I'm not materialistic, I'm easy to please, and I've always thought it's a good idea to have plenty of spare time for yourself. Don't they say time is money? A friend of mine told me once, you aren't richer if you have more money, but if you need less. And I agreed with her on the spot. Nonetheless, if a mishap crosses your path, it's always reassuring to get back home, get cozy, and let Handel's water music caress your ear with his smooth and sweet chords while tasting a nutritional glass of white, fresh, yummy milk. Today's brains appear to be shrunk on account of so much pretending and looking at screens. Drop your phone and get back to reality. Thank you. All the best.
Kubla, you're positive. I hate to say it, but I think it's too late with the screen things. It's not too late for an individual, but I think as a society, whoa, it's gone too far. We got a world full of zombies who are experiencing things through their phones, through a little screen. But that wasn't the main idea. I liked some vocabulary that you used. To take it in stride. Tomarlo con filosofía. Take it in stride. And he said he usually doesn't have bad days, which is great. That's great too, because he allows for some you time, as we call it, or me time, you can say, right? Si estás hablando de ti personalmente. Yesterday, I had a me day. Now, if you guys follow me on social media, you'll know yesterday I took the day off, a random Monday. I took the day off, lo cogí libre, because my daughter was in school, my wife was working, and I went to Parque Warner. And you know what I did? I rode Batman 3 times. I rode Superman 7 times. This is the stuff that makes me happy. And I was alone. And I made friends. You know me. I even made an American friend who was here from, well, actually, he's from Los Angeles, but he's studying at Purdue University. And he took his spring break that you get from the university there to come out to Spain and ride all the roller coasters in Spain. So he went to Parque Atracciones. Yesterday, he was at Warner. He was earlier in the week, he was at Portaventura. And it was so funny because we were going on the new Batman Gotham City Escape. I got a front row seat, okay? Because single riders, eso es lo bueno, cuando vas solo, te cuelas siempre en los trenes. You know, they're like, uno? I'm like, yep. De hecho, when we walked up to the line, anytime I walked up to a line, I shouldn't say we now, when I was alone, I just went with my finger up in the air like, uno, soy uno. And they would just be like, sí, fila 5. And so one of the times they were like, fila 1. I'm like, oh, yes. yes, yes. And then a dude comes up, un tronco, un tío, and they told him he was a single rider too. And they go, okay, front row. And I could tell he was excited. And I didn't even plan it. And I turned around and I said to him, hey, what's going on, dude? And he's like, oh, not much. How you doing? Like, I could, okay, he looked like a giddy in his defense. But he answered, like, it was a natural thing. I said, oh, you're definitely American. And he answered, and it was incredible. And we rode Batman together in the front row. But my point, what is my point? This guy, instead of going partying and being with a big group of people, said, I love roller coasters. Spain has some awesome roller coasters. Spain has great weather, and I can get a good flight there. And so I applaud people like that who, whatever your geekiness may be, tu friquismo, the more the merrier. The freakier, the better, right? The more of a geek you are, I think the more you enjoy stuff as well. So important to have hobbies and to have you time, because here I'm Alberto the teacher. I have a class. I had a class before the show today. I have a class after the show today. I have so sometimes I'm Alberto the teacher. Sometimes I'm Alberto the producer when I'm producing FYI. Sometimes I'm Alberto the dad. Sometimes I'm Alberto the husband. And it's crazy trying to wear all those different hats. So great, really good reflection, Kubla. And I love what you said too. Time is money. You say el tiempo es oro. We say el tiempo es dinero. And I always say this when there's that classic debate, would you rather have more free time or be richer? And one thing that I've noticed in my life, maybe you guys have had a different experience. You can tell me in the comments. But I've noticed that money comes and goes. Like, I'll be like, oh, man, I don't have any money. I just had to spend money on my teeth or whatever. But then all of a sudden I'll do a project and I'm like, oh, okay, I got some money now. But it comes and goes. Then it goes to another thing. And time is just ticking. It's just going by. And I hate that song. Time goes by so slowly. Really? In your life? I can't believe my daughter's going to be 5 in September. So time is definitely more valuable than money. And another thing that stuck with me for you workaholics, because I'm a bit of a workaholic. I have to admit, I wasn't always in that. Work-life balance has been a difficult thing for me. And but something I heard, and it really struck a nerve, tocó la fibra sensible, is nobody has ever said on their deathbed, okay, en su lecho de muerte, you say, on their deathbed, I wish I had worked more. Ojalá hubiese trabajado más. Do you know anybody who said that? So just a reminder, time is just ticking by. Excellent job, Kubla. You got me all philosophical there. And Kubla, excellent expression to take it in stride. And now we're going to hear from another student who participates week after week. And she's just a lovely individual. She loves her family. She loves her fellow students. And we love her. It's Nuria.
Hi, Alberto and show with no-namers. This is Nuria from Madrid. Regarding this week's question, what can always make me feel better after a bad day? Honestly, it's getting home, putting on my pajamas and relaxing with my family. I have many hellish days due to my work lately. Dealing with people with mental issues or another disease often pushes you to the limit. Although it's true that I'm a very patient person and I love my job, it's also very tough sometimes. And yet, I put a smile on my face and keep my chin up. What also helps me to let off steam is to go swimming or do some other exercise at the sports center. And that's all for now. Take care, amigos. Thank you.
Nuria, excellent job. Yeah, Nuria, I gotta say, for me too, it's those simple things. Because, like Kubla said, he goes, it's not how much you need, it's not how much you have, it's how much you need. And for me, there's no better feeling in life than putting on your PJs. Even now, my PJs, I don't have traditional pajamas. PJs is another way of saying pajamas. I have sweats, los de algodón, these ones. But when I can come home, take off my jeans and my shoes and put on my PJs and my slippers, life is good. And it's not just the PJs and the slippers. It's being cozy, cuddling, or snuggling with your family. That's how I blow off steam. We have a cuddle session on the sofa where all three of us are cuddling each other. My daughter loves to wrestle. Hacemos pressing catch, but we spend time connecting, and not just connecting like, oh, how was your day? But also actually touching each other, being physical, being like, oh yeah, oh, you're going to push me. Okay. And it's really amazing because it's a drug. It really is better than any drug, being with the right people. And you let off endorphins, you produce, I should say, endorphins when you hug. I always tell Lara yesterday she was a little bit sad. I go, do you want a hug? Sometimes it makes me feel better, and it really does, guys. I think sometimes we forget the power of a hug, a good hug at the right moment. A well-timed good hug is priceless. Absolutely. Give somebody a hug today. I challenge you to give somebody a hug today. You won't regret it. I can tell you that. Also, she used some great vocabulary. She said hellish. Another word that came to mind, to have a really difficult day, another way we say it is taxing, right? Que te pasa impuesto, no? Que te pasa factura. Think about it that way. I had a taxing day. Taxing, and then, the expression pasar factura? I know you know it. All right, translate this sentence for me. Este amor me ha pasado factura. Me ha pasado factura. Anybody know it? This love has taken its toll on me. She said goodbye too many times before to take its toll. Ahí lo tienes. What a great song and an awesome expression. Folks, what can I say? As your teacher, I'm so proud of you. You are all improving your spoken English. And folks, now it's time to move on because, as we said, time is money. It's time for our pop quiz. Pop quiz. Come on! Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Yeah. Let's go. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. All right, folks, that's right. It is our pop quiz here on the show with no name. And as always, we're going to listen to one of our materials. We're going to listen to a little excerpt from Inglés Gramática Fácil. It's got, are you ready for this? I think we even need a drum roll. It has got 180 English lessons in it, and it is awesome. It will help you clear up all your doubts. It's available for under $15, menos de 15 euros, and it's at the Von Tienda. You've also got 4 hours of audio with that. You've got so much, folks, and all our materials are at the Von Tienda, just waiting to be discovered. And if you're looking for courses, we've got you covered. Remember, we just started something called Weekend Town. ¿Conoces Weekend Town? La nueva iniciativa de Vaughan.
Pues no.
Es un fin de semana de inmersión en inglés. Y es nuevísimo.
A ver, cuéntame más.
Tendrás una inmersión lingüística total durante 2 días. Un total de 24 horas hablando con angloparlantes de todo el mundo.
¡Wow! ¡Qué interesante!
Ganarás confianza y soltura a la hora de comunicarte en inglés. Mejorarás tu comprensión auditiva y tus habilidades conversacionales en una situación de comunicación real en inglés. Ven a Weekend Town y te sorprenderás con todo lo que puede avanzar tu inglés en un fin de semana. Weekend Town de Vaughan. Un fin de semana de inmersión en inglés. That's right, folks. More information at grupovon.com/cursos destacados. All right, we're going to listen to this audio clip about used to. My students, even high-level students, mix up usually, used to be used to, and to get used to. But we're going to clear it up right now. This is from Gramática Fácil. Inglés, Gramática Fácil. It's available at vontienda.com.
Day 26. Used to. Listening challenge. Ask me if I used to have a pet. Ask me if my nephew used to visit me. Ask me if my sister used to play with dolls. Ask me if I used to go out a lot.
Day 27. To be used to. Listening challenge. I'm used to the cold weather. They're not used to sitting at a desk. We're used to having a late dinner. She's used to our way of doing things. He's not used to your way of doing things. I'm not used to wearing a hat.
Day 28. To get used to. Listening challenge. He's getting used to the new job. It took him a while to get used to it. We can't get used to the heat. I still haven't gotten used to their accent. I've gotten used to having lunch at 3 p.m.
All right, amigos. Now, have you gotten used to that structure? All right, well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I thought about explaining it beforehand. Some of you probably know it, but it's always good to review it because, again, these are mistakes I hear pretty often where people mix up 4 different structures. Again, we're going to clear it up in a moment, but what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to give you the challenge beforehand and see if you know how to do it correctly. Afterwards, we'll review with some more examples and make sure that you are used to this structure. ¿Ves? Lo usé 2 veces ahí y eso era sin querer. All right, so let's take a look over here. I'm going to give you 3, and they're all going to be a little bit different. So we're going to see which ones you guys can figure it out. The first one is yo antes era rico y famoso. Yo antes era rico. Give me all 3 of these, please, in the same comment. This way we don't have too many comments. So, where was it here? Yo antes era rico y famoso. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, tendré que acostumbrarme a. You can add your own example there. How's that? Okay. No, de hecho, vamos a hacer eso. Let's do that. The one I just gave you, the first one, yo antes era, and you fill in the blank. Quiero que lo pongas tú. Pon un ejemplo. Yo antes era más paciente, menos paciente. Antes era un rey. I don't know. You know, that's one that I want you guys to give me. And I prefer, instead of using the example that I have here, I'd prefer you give me your personalized example. So yo antes era. Okay. The next one, and I want you to fill in your example. Tendré que acostumbrarme a hacer tal cosa. Ok, aquí quiero que pongas un verbo. So el primero, yo antes era. The second one, tendré que acostumbrarme a hacer tal cosa. Pon la que te parece más, la que te venga mejor. Ok. And the last one, I'm looking to give you here. Ok. Ok. No tengo tanta paciencia como antes. No tengo tanta, es difícil para mí en español. No tengo tanta paciencia como antes. So 3 sentences using used to, get used to, or used to. And when we come back from this quick commercial break, we'll take a look at your answers. We'll look at some other examples too, just to make sure you're totally used to it by the time we're done. Folks, we're going to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with tons more Show with No Name. So, stick around. Hello, amigos. Welcome back. Welcome back to, oh my goodness, part 2 of today's show. We've got a lot to do in this part of today's show. We're going to kick off with our Say What soundbite. We need to listen to it the first and the second time. And I'm going to warn you right now. I'm going to forewarn you, whatever I need. I'm going to forewarn you. It's going to be tough. Chungo, you say in Spanish. But hey, we will figure it out by the end of the show. You won't have any doubts about used to or get used to, because we're going to clear it all up. We'll also take a look at our spelling bee. We've got homophones as well. And of course, in the second half of the show, movies, music, birthdays, and so much more. And after today's show, you've got an appointment, I should say a date because it sounds more fun, with Nacho and Ximena. You can join them in their awesome show, Test Your English, right after today's show at 12:30. All you have to do is download the Vaughn Radio app, amigos. And voila. Yeah, we say that too. All right. You ready for the Say What soundbite? Say what? What? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Say what, what? Uh-huh. All right. Rocking and rolling. All right, folks. It's your Say What soundbite. Again, I'm just going to apologize up front. Okay? You know why? This is a tough one for me, too. Yeah. So, obviously, it's not the same accent as mine, is it? You know what to do, folks. You're going to hear it 4 times. You'll have 4 chances to write it all down, and we'll see how you guys do. Is everybody ready? This is your Say What soundbite for the first time.
Here's a little trick I'd like to show you now. It's a very famous egg and bag trick. Here's the egg, is a bag. My teeth itch. I went to the dentist. He said my teeth are all right, but my gum's going to come out.
What? Yeah. I told you, but this guy's famous. So obviously somebody understood him. People were laughing. Hey, don't laugh at him because there are a lot of people who talk like that. So what I want to know is if you could make any sense out of what you heard. All right. I'm going to give it to you a second time, and then I want to hear your opinion on it. Hopefully, I doubt it, but I don't like to ever be that way. I'm not a naysayer. I'm always saying, yes, we can. But I highly doubt anybody will get this one perfectly. But that's okay. We're training our ear. So the hardest, thickest accents are maybe the ones we should practice the most, right? So then when we hear somebody speaking perfect Queen's English like this, well, it's quite simple to follow along. Or somebody speaking a very standard American accent. All right, so is everybody ready? Here it is for the second time.
Here's a little trick I'd like to show you now. It's a very famous egg and bag trick. Here's the egg, is a bag. My teeth itch. I went to the dentist. He said my teeth are all right, but my gum's going to come out.
Hey, Damian, what's crack-a-lackin', buddy?
Hey, Alberto, I was planning to do some sports this week. What about playing baseball?
Ooh, baseball. I love it. But I'm not sure yet. Can we touch base next week?
Touch base. Estamos en contacto, ¿no? Hablamos en algún momento. Yeah, okay. Let's touch base. Okay, what about basketball? Do you want to play basketball?
Oh, man, I love basketball. It's one of my favorite sports. But I don't know if I can this weekend because I've already got plans. Oh, man, that's the way the ball bounces.
That's the way the ball bounces. Así están las cosas, ¿no? Así bota la pelota. Así bota la pelota. That's the way the ball bounces. I love that expression. Okay, what about tennis? Do you want to play tennis?
Well, I love tennis, but I'm not really a good player. If you don't mind playing with a novice, the ball's in your court, buddy.
La bola está en mi campo, ¿eh? La pelota está en mi tejado. All right. Do you want to play some soccer?
Sure, I'd love to play some soccer or football, as you call it. What time do we kick off?
Perfect. We're kicking off at 9. Are you available?
Sure, but I might have to play some golf before with some friends. It's par for the course.
It's par for the course. Es lo normal, ¿no? Es lo normalito, lo que se hace. Okay, what about billiards? Do you like playing billiards?
Yeah, but right now I'm behind the 8 ball.
I'm behind the 8 ball. Estás detrás de la bola 8, como que llevas las de perder.
Yeah, wow, a lot of idiomatic expressions here.
Muy buenas expresiones. Si es que así de gusto aprender inglés con un profe como Alberto y un poquito de creatividad, tienes This Book is the Shit. El mejor libro para aprender inglés que te has echado a la cara in your life. Píllatelo, vas a disfrutar mogollón de dibujos para que lo aprendas todo fácil, con conexiones lógicas y divertidas. Es la manera más sencilla y más divertida de aprender inglés. No te la pierdas.
Damian, you're such a good sport. Te enrollas. You can pick up your copy of This Book is the Shit at
vaughantienda.com.
It's the shit. All right, folks. That's right. Tons of great materials. And also, don't forget, you got Inglés, Gramática Fácil, which we're looking at today to review the used to stuff. Let's see if you guys are used to it or not. We've got David in the house. I'm checking in with my students now. If you'd like to join us live, you can do so. But don't worry if you can't. You can catch the show wherever you listen to podcasts. Well, we've got David over here, and David says, good morning, Alberto. What's up, David? Glad to have you with us on board, buddy. We've got Mike Moreno. He says, what's up, Chulacos? Let's rock with the Americano. Oh, yeah. Cool. Great. Welcome aboard, fellas. Alex says, Alberto, you are a crack. What do you say that in English? Mejor, how do you say that in English, ¿no? ¿Cómo lo dirías en English? In English, you would say, you're the shit, you're the bomb, you're the man, you're the bee's knees. No sé. Tienes varios. Thank you. We do use the word crack as experto, pero lo usamos como adjetivo. Te lo explico. A team of crack doctors were able to save the man. No, pudieron salvar al hombre. Right? A team of crack scientists. A lot of time we talk about crack journal. Uno que es un crack, pero se usa como adjetivo. We don't say you're a crack. But great question. So how do you say it? You're the shit, you're the bomb, you're the bee's knees, you're the man, right? Ricardo says, I should say you rock it, mate. Well, you could say you rock it, you rock, más común sin el it. You rock, man. Yeah, sin el it, casi mejor, más nativo. You rock, you rule, tú molas. Lots of good ways to say it. Either way, thank you. Thank you so much. Speaking of people who rock, people who rule, we've got Chris Valrol, and she is participating in our Used to pop quiz today, which is coming from Inglés Gramática Fácil, available at Von Tienda. And Chris says, morning show with no-namers. What's up, Chris? How's it hanging? She says, I used to be more impatient. Chris, the first one is correct. So veamos la estructura. Sujeto, used to. O sea, no emplea el to be, no emplea el to get, es I used to, y nunca lo piensas como dos palabras, por favor. En tu cabeza tienes que ver used to, este sonido, used to, used to, used to, right? People mix it up with usually a lot. I've had students say, Alberto, I used to listen to your program every Friday. I'm like, oh, you don't anymore? That's sad. No, I usually, okay, es muy diferente. I usually suelo hacerlo. Usualmente, piénsalo así. I used to es yo antes lo hacía. You know it from the song? Now you're just somebody that I used to know. Somebody. Or Madonna, this used to be my playground. This used to be my pride and joy. I don't know how it goes, but I remember she says that. Used to. Con el sujeto. Sujeto, used to. Yo antes, right? También el sujeto no tiene que ser una persona. It used to rain more often. Antes llovía más. It used to rain. So, Chris says, I used to. Y fíjate, uno el sujeto con el used to. So it's not she used to work there. It's she used to work there. La pausa viene donde ponemos el verbo. I used to know him. Not anymore. Right? So I used to be more impatient. Well, Chris, it's great to know that you are more patient. I can use that one. That one rings true to me. I used to be more impatient. Let's see, the second one. I'll have to get used to cooking before the show. Excellent. Tendré que. Difícil esa estructura, ¿eh? I'll have to get used to cooking before the show. Excellent job. Y fijaos, ahora ha cambiado la cosa. So the first one is I used to, he used to, she used to, they used to, it used to. This next one is get used to. Now, get used to es acostumbrarse. So you can say, I got used to Spain, como país, sustantivo. Me acostumbré a España. I got used to Spain. Pero si ponemos verbo, engaña un poco. Pero no a Chris. I'll have to get used to cooking. O sea, este to no le sigue un infinitivo. Es un gerundio. Y lo mismo si empleamos el be con el used to. So, vamos a repasar tres aquí. So, I used to be more patient. I'll have to get used to cooking. I'm used to doing laundry. Right? So just to use different household chores there. Pero si usamos verbo en el gerundio, ¿ok? Y no nos liemos entre used to versus usually, ni used to a secas o acompañado con. Piensa, si viene acompañado con be o get, las reglas son iguales. So, I'm used to speaking Spanish, I got used to speaking Spanish very quickly. ¿Ves? Lo único que cambia en esa frase es el am y o el get. Good job, Chris. Excellent. And the last one, let's see if she's going to go 3 for 3. She says, I don't have as much patience as I used to have. Excellent. Excellent job. As much as, this is another good structure to know. As much as con incontables, apunta esto y pone un ejemplo. And as many as es contables. So, I don't have as much time as I used to have. Free time, digo. Tenemos igual en el día, ¿no? I don't have as much free time as I used to. Okay? Fine. I don't have. Y fíjate como lo uno también. As much free time as I used to. Right? That is, that used to, that is the past tense. Again, I would learn it in all of them. The good thing is there's one thing that they all have in common. Used to is in all of them. Now, it depends if it's by itself. It depends if it's with the verb to be or if it's with the verb to get. You can practice these in Inglés con Gramática Fácil. Oh, and that's what I was saying. Sorry. So, as much as y as many as. So, I don't have as much time as I used to have. And that's incontable. I don't have as many friends as I used to have. As much incontable as many contable as. Y no nos liemos con as patient as. O sea, este es con adjetivo, esta estructura. Ambos usan as en ambas partes. O sea, estas son estructuras muy comunes, pero hay líos entre ellos. So write them down. Okay? We already did the get used to, so I don't have as much incontable as tal persona. Right? And I don't have, Madrid doesn't have as many museums as, yo que sé. Just, you can add your own city in there. Okay? As much as many as. Incontables, contables. And then as adjetivo as, debería decir, is I'm not as tall as my sister. Right? Tan alto como. Very common structures in any language, structures you should know. Chris Valrol's the only one who participated. She's not the only one here. Question, is it because you guys don't know it or you can't type at the moment? I'm curious. That's weird. Okay. Or you didn't want to take a risk? I don't know. Curious why Chris was the only one to take a stab at it. Well, Chris, again, great job. Your improvement is your reward. No, tu recompensa es tu mejora. And God knows you're improving. Everybody knows it. It's no secret, como decimos. All right, Chris is also participating in the Say What soundbite. And is anybody, the rest of you guys, what are you doing? Are you not? Why aren't you participating? Just curious. Is it because you don't know? Is it because of because if you make a mistake, it's okay. No one's going to do anything to you, I promise. In fact, you might even learn something. All right. Well, Chris, talking about today's Say What soundbite. She says, I heard a man whose accent I can't pinpoint. I barely understood anything. Well, Chris, here's what you're showing me, though. You know how to express the fact that you didn't understand anything. Y eso da para mucho. So I barely understood anything. Aside from someone's already famous and that he wants to dance. He didn't say dance. But I know it's very difficult. Don't stress it at all. And she says maybe something about a bag. Well, the bag is correct. Absolutely. So, awesome. Chris Valrol kicking everybody's butt all over the place. She will rock you. Sing it. Chris will rock you. All right, folks, it is time to move on now, though. We've got so much to do. And another way to say time is money is time is of the essence. So let's move on to our spelling bee.
Spelling Spelling bee. Spelling bee. Spelling bee. Spelling bee.
Welcome to our Spelling Bee, amigos. As always, this is a very challenging part of the show, but I think everybody will enjoy today's topic because we're going to travel today. We are going to an amazing place that I still haven't been to, at least not in person. But I'm dying to go. I'll give you a clue. You guys know Tosh Pasqua, who used to work with us here on Vaughn Radio. Tosh Pasqua. Well, this reminds me of her, so we'll send her a shout out. All right, folks, as always, round one is hellish. I am going to fly through these words. Now, let's start all of the words with a capital letter. And round one is hold on to your hats round. Is everybody ready? I'm going to fly through this one, and I expect everybody to participate, not just Chris Valrol. Here we go. The first one is SYDNEY space HARBOUR space BRIDGE. The second one, COATHANGER. The third one is SYDNEY space OPERA space HOUSE. The fourth one, JOHN space BRADFIELD. The fifth one is DORMAN space LONG. And the last one is HELL space GATE space BRIDGE. Do you know about Vaughn groups? Well, I'm going to tell you all about them. They are group English classes that you can do via video conference or in person. And the good news is you can start whenever you want. And you can keep the same timetable, teacher, and classmates throughout the whole course. And the best part, there's no strings attached. Sin compromiso. And if you act now, you can get a 5% discount for paying up front. And if you stick with the course for 6 months, you'll get a 50% discount in June. Wow, what a deal! As if you needed more reasons to learn English with Vaughn. Check out our Vaughn groups. Have fun and make friends as you learn English. Sign up now while there are still spots available. Call us 911-385831. Or you can go to our website, grupovaughn.com. And don't forget to follow us on social media and find out if Vaughn groups are for you. More information at grupovaughn.com/cursos destacados. As I said, you can find all the information on all the deals that are going on right now. Also, let me remind you, date. We've got a date. Let's see, April 10th. April 10th, we've got our next Vaughn Radio Trivia Night. It's hosted by my good friend Juan Solo, and it is going to be a blast. I think it's starting at 8, but don't quote me on that. Don't quote me. No me cites. Don't quote me on that. Cuando no estamos seguros, esto es una buena expresión. But if I'm not mistaken, it's starting at 8 p.m. It's at Roll Madrid, Calle de Amaniel 23. And if you've never been to one of our trivia nights, Just ask anybody who's been or who comes regularly. It is a great, great evening. So that is April 10th. It's free, and it's a chance for you to mingle, mezclar, with your Vaughn teachers and also your fellow students. And who knows, you might even make friends. I know myself, I always see some of our listeners and end up chatting with them. And really, it's a wonderful evening. All right, amigos, I'm looking over here. I didn't expect anybody to get it because I really, really flew through the spelling bee in the first round. So I'll tell you what, I am going to be nice. Voy a ser majete. And I'm going to do it at a very nice, reasonable pace. Un ritmo razonable is the word, I think. All right, here we go, folks. Here's round 2 of today's spelling bee. The first word is SYDNEY space HARBOUR space BRIDGE. The second one is COATHANGER. The third one, SYDNEY space OPERA space HOUSE. The fourth one, JOHN, very common name, space BRADFIELD. The fifth one is DORMAN space LONG. And the last one, 3 words, HELL space GATE space BRIDGE. Folks, we're going to a quick commercial break. We'll come right back in a moment with the second half of the show. It looks like we've got a winner on our hands. We're going to Sydney, amigos. Did I come from the land down under? To Oz, to Australia, when we come back. Plus, we've got homophones, Name That Movie, and so much more. So, stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to part 3 of today's show with no name on Vaughn Radio. You've got tons of wonderful programs all day here. You can start your day with Rob Grams and the Pro Bow Show. You've got Richard Vaughn live, and then right before this program, Learn English with the Master Fitz and his program, No Excuses. Test Your English is right after the show, followed by, the Lunchtime Show, of course, with Rob and Andy. And then you can chill out with Ruby and speak up. Then you can get random with Jules Linares. And you might be hungry after that, so you have a salad with Dave Boyes. Then you get in your car and you have some drive time with Kyle Miller. And then you get home and you make yourself a nice cocktail with Chris Frank from Frankly Speaking. And all of this while you're learning English as you go about your day. To go about your day is mientras pasas el día, se pasa el día. Download the free app. And remember, guys, if you're learning English with Vaughn, we love it when you spread the word. We love it when you tell people about us. So spread the word. Tell your friends. Guys, because you always have that conversation. Oh, man, inglés no es lo mío. It's not my... pendiente, blah, blah, blah. And that's yours. Your job as our ambassadors, when they hear you speak English and they see you're not afraid of it, to say, have you heard of Vaughn Radio? And we thank you for that, guys. You are our best ambassadors. When people see you, okay, you might make mistakes, but when they see you're confident and you're enjoying it, people are going to ask. They're going to say, how did you do that? And that's where you say, Vaughn Radio. Here, give me your phone. Let me download that app for you. And you can play along. You can learn English. It's interactive. There's even a section called Homophones.
Homophones, homophones on the show with no name. It's homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. Homophones on the show with no name. Cause homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. The show with no name. The show with no name.
All right, folks, homophones only on the show with no name. And here's where I'm going to give you two words, and we'll see if you are familiar with these words, A, and B, if you know if they sound exactly the same and would be unrecognizable without context. So the first word is a door or a fence on a property, a door and a fence. So it's not puerta, es como verja, cancela, reja. So when I think of a jardín, something like that. But it's also puerta, si hablamos de puerta de embarque. O una puerta como, like puerta de Alcalá, like that puerta. That's like more of a portal, un portal de un sitio a otro. That kind of, no, la puerta de cada día is your door. Okay, oh yeah, open the door. But when we talk about las puertas del cielo, las puertas del jardín, these bigger puertas, these more elaborate puertas, people are strange. The doors, las puertas. When you're bueno, pero uso esa canción para enseñar el people are. Cuando mis alumnos me dicen people is, I say people are strange. When you're a stranger, faces look ugly when you're alone. So the word is verja, puerta de embarque. También es taquilla, talking about theme parks. So a lot of times they talk about how much is the taquilla, ¿no? La entrada. Okay, pero piénsalo, las puertas de un parque temático no es una puertecita, son puertacas. So the translation, puertacas. Okay, that's our first word. And the second word, we'll see if you're familiar with it, is a way of walking. Okay, andares. We also talk about it a lot of times when we talk about a certain animal. When we talk about horses, we talk about paso, aire de un caballo. It's also, they talk about it as your speed, tu marcha o tu paso cuando estás andando. Okay, so First word, I think you're familiar with. The second one might be a little bit more difficult, but we'll see if you know it. Andares, paso, aire, marcha. Again, something a horse does as well. But we use it to talk about the way people walk as well. All right, those are your homophones. Let me give you our very difficult say what soundbite for the third time.
Here's a little trick I'd like to show you now. It's a very famous egg and bag trick. Here's the egg, here's the bag. My teeth itch. I went to the dentist. He said, my teeth are all right, but my gum's going to come out.
This guy, I mean, he sounds British, but I don't know if he studied at Oxford. ¿Qué tiene que ver la Universidad de Oxford con Vaughan? Pues muchísimo. Es una alegría anunciar que Vaughan ha sido certificado como centro examinador de Oxford Test of English. A partir del próximo mes de marzo 2023, podrás hacer los exámenes de Oxford Test of English en los centros de Vaughan. Si quieres más información sobre esta iniciativa de Vaughan y Oxford, puedes ver más en nuestra página web, grupovaughan.com. O bien síguenos en redes sociales para más información. Oxford Test of English con Vaughan.
Brilliant!
Oh, sorry, that horse. What, man? Well, that's a horse of a different color. You know the expression? Bueno, es bueno la expresión, ¿eh? That's a horse of a different color. Eso es harina de otro costal. Oh, well, if you put it that way, si lo pones así, well, that's a horse of a different color. Hablando de Oz, Australia, ¿habéis visto The Wonderful Wizard of Oz? De hecho, lo estábamos cantando. We were singing it this morning at my house. When my daughter was getting ready, we were getting her dressed. We were singing, we're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. And if there was a whiz, there was. If ever a whiz, there was. If ever, oh, ever a whiz, there was. The Wizard of Oz is just one because of the wonderful things he does. The Wizard of Oz, man. Gotta love that. Well, in that movie, when they get to the Emerald City, she goes, well, you've got to let us in. And he goes, well, that's a horse of a different color. Eso es, y empieza a cambiar de color. El caballo. That's the visual joke there. A horse of a different color. So, and if you're getting impatient, you know what I'll tell you? Hold your horses. Cálmate. Hold your horses. All right, let's see if you guys were familiar with this word that we use a lot with horses, but also with humans when they walk. The only one to participate today, it seems, is Chris Valrol. She's not the only one here. She's not the only student here, but she's the only one making, well, I guess maybe you guys are driving or something. Or maybe it's, I get it. Today's a difficult show. Hey, it's not for the faint of heart. No es apto para cardíacos. I get it. You're sitting on the bench today. No problem. No problem. But Chris, I know her style. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. Cuando las cosas se pongan chungas, los duros. No, vamos a traducirlo. Cuando las cosas se ponen duras, para que esté el juego de palabras, los duros se ponen en marcha. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. All right, so great. Let's see. So Chris says they are not homophones. And it seems like nobody's going to agree with you or disagree with you there. So what I'll do is say both words. The first word, please report to your boarding gate. Gate. Okay? Es un sonido E. Gate. Gate. Okay? The pearly gates. Hablamos de donde está San Pedro, right? The pearly gates, right? There's a very famous Pantera song. If you like heavy, this is an amazing song. The riff se llama Cemetery Gates. Oh my God. It's explosive. If you have headphones listening to it, it's insane. Pantera, búscatelo. Si sois rockeros y no lo conoces, Pantera, Pantera, you say? Not Pantera Rosa. All right, so the first word, gate. It's a word, if you've traveled, if you've been to an airport, you've seen the word gate, right? The second word, gait. There's something weird in his gait. No pisa bien sus andares. He's got more confidence in his gait. All right, here we go. I'm going to give you both of them next to each other, okay? If we're going to get to the boarding gate, you better pick up that gate. Speed up that gate. If we want to get to the boarding gate, you better pick up the pace. That gate is really slow. They are homophones. But Chris, you didn't lose anything. Now you know. These two words are absolutely homophones. So G-A-T-E y G-A-I-T sound exactly the same. And that's a horse of a different color. Bueno, hemos aprendido también dos expresiones. We took a look at two idiomatic expressions as well. All right, we are off to Oz, the land down under, Australia, where they say, good on, mate. Yeah, I love that one. I'll never forget the first time I heard it. I was like, I'm sorry, I can't. I'm done here. Good on, mate. Good day, mate. Good eye. Are you having a good eye, mate? I'm having a good day. I'm having a good eye. Good eye. Good eye. So good day, lo dicen good day, y se convierte, yo cuando lo oigo good, I, might, como fuerza, o como el might, el puede que, right? Good on, mate. Do you want to imitate an Australian saying hello? The good eye, mate. Good eye, mate. O buen ojo, amigo. Good eye, mate. So how do they say that? Good eye, mate. Good eye, mate. Buenos días, amigo. Buen ojo, amigo. I don't know how they distinguish those two. Well, today in 1932, ladies and gentlemen, the Sydney Harbour Bridge was opened. A symbol of Australia, not just of Sydney, but it's a symbol of Australia. The Sydney Harbour Bridge and, of course, the Opera House. That we all know, you all know the image I'm talking about right now, right? We all can see it in our heads. We can see that skyline. Okay, maybe it's not as it's probably just as popular as the New York skyline. It's unique, I'll tell you that. But did you guys know, I found this out, this is mind-blowing. The Sydney Harbour Bridge, which opened today in 1932, was inspired by the Hell Gate Bridge. Mira, Puerta del Infierno. We just said heaven, the gates of heaven. It's called the Hell Gate Bridge in New York. And it is, you're like, I haven't heard of it. Guys, we have some beautiful bridges in New York. The Brooklyn Bridge, the Verrazano, the GW, some really beautiful and advanced bridges, the Brooklyn Bridge was the first of its kind. By the way, there's an FYI episode on the Brooklyn Bridge. Fascinating story. The project was started by a man, then his son took over, and then the son's wife took over. So the project was completed by a woman, the Brooklyn Bridge, one of the most famous bridges in the world. But today we're talking about the Hell Gate Bridge. Look at it. If you're near a computer, Hell Gate Bridge. It is literally one of the ugliest. It's a railroad bridge. Pasan los trenes. Okay. It's not like a pretty bridge. But when they built it, which was, let me see when it was in the one in New York now, it was in they finished it in 1916. And supposedly as well, it's really difficult to navigate there. The currents, I remember when I've done you can do a tour around Manhattan. It's called Circle Line. It's like a little cruise. And they tell you about the different bridges. And I remember the tour guide being like, the Hell Gate Bridge, this passageway, you're done. If you can't outswim this tide here. Even ships have problems. I'm like, oh, wow. So, but it's, as I said, it's used to connect New York City with other parts, Astoria, Queens, by train. And it's an ugly bridge. Ugly and, okay, it's important. Obviously, it's important to the infrastructure, but not, aesthetically. People don't go to New York to see the Hell Gate Bridge. So that blew my mind because the tour guide didn't tell us that in New York, that the Sydney Harbor, and if you see both of them, the Sydney Harbor Bridge is like a beautiful version of, a beautiful and a bigger version of this Hell Gate Bridge, right? And so in 1932, so about 15, 20 years later, is when this one was opened, after the one in New York. And in our spelling bee, the first word was Sydney Harbor Bridge. That's the name. Harbor es puerto. It's a good word to know. Harbor. Harbor también es un verbo. Espera, ¿cómo se dice en español? Are you harboring resentment? Guardando rencor. To harbor. Guardar, albergar un sentimiento. Are you harboring negative feelings? Right? So it's a verb, puerto, pero también, and you can harbor a person too, pero normalmente lo usamos más con, como sustantivo, como el puerto. Oh, what a beautiful harbor there in Australia. Have any of you been? ¿Alguno que está con nosotros? Have you been? Have you seen that beautiful view in person from the Sydney Harbor Bridge? Then you've got the coat hanger. Number 2 was the coat hanger. And what is that? La percha. That's its nickname. Yep. Well, the same way people call the George Washington Bridge the George Washington Bridge all over the world. In New York, it's the GW. It's not even called the GW Bridge. It's the GW, el GW, right? The same way nobody says the Brooklyn Queens Expressway. It's the BQE. No, es una autovía que conecta Brooklyn and Queens. Two major, where it's a major vein in New York City, the BQE. So we love our our abbreviations in New York. So yes, the coat hanger. Number 3 was Sydney Opera House. Sydney Opera House, which is right next to it. It's part of the picture, as I said. I don't think the bridge was as prominent until the Opera House was built. And that Opera House has a very interesting story. Let's put it this way. You can look up the story on your own, but the architect was not invited to the opening ceremony. What? Yeah. Most famous bridge in the world, most famous opera house in the world. And he wasn't invited to the, So, whoa. Let's see. Sydney Opera House, as I said, another place that you got to go to. John Bradfield was the next name. And John Bradfield, he was the director of construction. He worked with the Department of Public Works. And so he was a very important person in this, John Bradfield. Then you have Dorman Long. And Dorman Long was the British firm that designed it and built it. So he was the head of the project, John Bradfield. He said, we got to do this. We got to build this bridge. It's perfect. We need it, and he got the project done. And it was done by Dorman Long, a British firm. A firm is bufete, right? De abogados, de arquitectos. A firm. Es la misma palabra que firme. I'm going to be firm, but I'm not going to work at that law firm. Voy a ser muy firme. No voy a trabajar en ese bufete. Hey, that could be an awesome double trouble, couldn't it? All right. And that's it. The 6th one was Hell Gate Bridge. So awesome job, my amigos. Oh, I should say awesome job, Chris Valrol. There's Daniela. Give it up for the ladies. Yeah. All right. Well, we've got to move on. We are going to the movie. Name that movie. All right, folks, it's Name That Movie here on the show with no name. Here's where we learn a little English from the movies we love, or maybe some movies we don't love. It doesn't matter. You don't have to love a movie or a song to learn something from it. All right, here we go with the synopsis. We'll see if you can guess it. If not, don't worry. I will let you know. A man learns something extraordinary about himself after a devastating accident. Ahí lo tienes. Yeah. No, that's it. I can't give you that. That's what they gave me. Wow. It's pretty, I don't know. It's a little bit unclear. I guess it could be any, right? It could be any movie where somebody has an accident and learns something. Does it ring a bell to anybody? A man learns something extraordinary about himself after a devastating accident. I can tell you this is one of Quentin Tarantino's favorite films. He's not the director. As a director, it's one of his favorite films. Oh, and it's the guy who directs it, the guy who really did direct it, it's his favorite film that he's directed. So it's the director's favorite film and Quentin Tarantino's favorite film. Okay? And Chris says the movie is called Unbreakable. But you know what I say? You, Chris, are unbreakable. Indestructible. Unbelievable. Chris got our spelling bee, our homophones, our movies. You are on fire. And, guys, she's cooking. She told me she's running between the living room and the kitchen. And the only thing, Chris, if it's a laptop, bring it into the kitchen, right? Or I know you probably got it hooked up to speakers. I mean, if you got it all set up, I get it. But remember, sometimes I forget that. Sometimes I'm like, oh, guys, come here. Let's, and I could bring it to them. We say in English, bring Mohammed to the mountain, right? Igual decís, same expression, no? But yeah, I get it. Maybe you've got it all hooked up, lo tienes conectado con cosas, and that's a little bit more of a pain in the ass. But it doesn't matter, Chris. You don't need it in the same room, it seems. So yes, the movie is Unbreakable. It's directed by, no sé decir su nombre, M. Night Shyamalan. Puede ser. He's the guy who did The Sixth Sense. He's the guy who did Signs. He's the guy who did the worst movie I've seen in the last 5 years. A Cabin in the Woods. Es que hasta el título. Una cabaña en el bosque. Wow, creative. You really thought about that one, huh? Good, really creative. Again, I like this guy, but only his first 2 movies. Oh, maybe Unbreakable. But that's it. The other ones, even Signs, I was like, all right, whatever. But this one stars Bru Willy, as they call him in Almeria. Bru. You know Bru? Bru Willy. Yeah. No, Bruce Willis. Vamos a decirlo a la americana, como lo diría él. Bruce Willis. Como lo digas así en español, tus amigos se ríen de ti. But this isn't Spanish class. This is English class. Bruce Willis, Samuel L. Jackson, and Robin Wright. Robin Wright, who played Jenny in Forrest Gump. And also, she was in House of Cards. Oh, man. Is it me, or is Robin Wright just the right actress at the right time? Robin Wright, right? All right, well, the movie came out in the year 2000. It was one of those hits. Right now, on IMDb, it's got a 7.3 out of 10. And again, IMDb is rated by fans, like Rotten Tomatoes. So that's a pretty, especially, now, 20, you want your mind to be blown right now? 24 years later. That movie came out 24 years ago. Do you feel old yet? Man, I feel as old as the hills. Esto es una expresión, you say, del año de la pera. I love these idiomatic expressions. They make the world go round. They make language more exciting. All right, amigos, speaking of exciting, we've got a lot of exciting stuff to cover in the 4th and final part of today's show. We're going to play. We've got our Double Trouble. We're going to take a look at the scene from Unbreakable. Famous birthdays. Name that lyric. And so much more, my amigos. I hope you're having fun. I hope you're learning. And as I said before, I hope you spread the word. Because I'm sure you guys have friends who say, pero tío, ¿dónde has aprendido tú el inglés así? Cuando te ven, maybe you go on a trip with them and they see you talking to the waiter, totally comfortable, and they're like, Espera, what's your secret? And that's when you scream at the top of your lungs, Vaughn Radio! All right, folks, we'll be right back with the rest of today's show. So, stick around. Welcome back, folks. Welcome back. Thank you again for making this time fly by, really. I really enjoy spending time with you every day, teaching you, and hopefully, maybe even inspiring you a little bit. Who knows? I feel like a teacher does so much, a good teacher does so much more than just teach you English or whatever it is. They connect with you. They become friends. Every student I've ever had that I've worked with, I mean, not just radio students, but students that are in my community or students that I've had private classes with, we end up becoming friends. Why? Well, what happens when you care about someone? Okay, it starts with me caring about your English progress, right? But then I begin to care about you as a person. What kind of teacher wouldn't? And before you know it, your students and you have so much more than just a student-teacher relationship, but a relationship built on trust, understanding, right? And lots of fun. No omitimos la diversión, nunca. We never want to take fun out of the equation. All right, amigos, let's get started. Let's get started with the fourth and final part of the show. We're going to kick off with the double trouble right now. I think it'll be an easy one, but we'll see, depending on how long it takes and how many people participate.
Double trouble, baby. Yeah, you know what time it is. Give it up. Double trouble. I said double trouble. Double trouble. I said double trouble.
All right, amigos, double trouble. Now, as I always say here, well, I don't always say it, but I think this is a good time to remind you and maybe take it as a hint. Una pista. You don't have to use the same tense. So puedes usar, por ejemplo, ran and run. O sea, el pasado y el presente. O running y ran. Por ejemplo, no tiene que ser el mismo tiempo verbal, pero sí que tiene que ser el mismo verbo. Right? Okay, good. As long as we got that part, then I think this one should be pretty easy today. All right, good luck. Él es un fan de fútbol a saco. You say, a saco, como super fan, friki total, right? Que esos fans, no fan, lo siguiente, as you say. So, él es fan de fútbol a saco y muere por ir a la final. ¿O moriría? You could say moriría, whatever one sounds better to you in Spanish. I think they're both correct in English. We'll take a look at it. So, él es un fan de fútbol a saco, super fan, y muere por ir a la final. You have to use the same word twice. Also, I'm going to give you guys the Say What soundbite for the fourth and final time.
Here's a little trick I like to show you now. It's a very famous egg and bag trick. Here's the egg, here's the bag. My teeth itch. I went to the dentist. He said my teeth are all right, but my gum's going to come out.
Listen carefully. Can you hear that? No. Listen closer. I'm not talking about the birds chirping. I'm talking about everybody speaking English and feeling comfortable. Listen. This is what it's like at Vaughntown, a peaceful place where you can really learn English and lose your inhibitions. There's a reason it's one of our star programs. Vaughntown, lose your fear of speaking English. If you want more information about this immersive experience, go to grupovon.com or give us a call, 911-385831. Lose your fear of speaking English and express yourself with clarity at Vaughntown. That's right, folks, Vaughntown, and now you've also got Weekend Town as well. So whatever you're looking for, again, you can find the information at grupovon.com/cursos destacados. If you're looking at summer camps, now's the time. Don't put it off. No lo aplaces, because in the end, if you put it off, then there won't be spots, you have fewer options. And so act now, take advantage of it, and send the kids to one of our awesome summer camps, whether it's an urban camp where they go home every day, or a camp where you send them away for 15 days. It obviously depends on their age. It depends on your child's personality as well. But more than a camp, it's an experience, and it'll last for a lifetime. And hopefully it'll get them not just excited about English, but if you think about it as them getting excited about language in general, culture, about, having things in common with people or not, and learning about people. If you've got that attitude, man, you'll make the most of any situation anywhere, even the worst situation you'll come across in life. All right, let's take a look, see if anybody has figured out our double trouble. Chris says, in Spain, el protegido. Oh, they call it irrompible, no? Wow, that's interesting. She says, I can't because the laptop is really old. You nailed it. It's connected. So I exercise. El myself de sobra. I exercise. I cook and I learn English. All right. Excellent. So Chris, is there anything you're preparing food, you're getting a workout, and you're working on your English? Superwoman. My wife taught my daughter, Superman, chorizo con pan. I'm like, babe, don't teach her the wrong words. So my daughter now sings Superman, chorizo con pan. Okay, so let's see. Chris is trying our double trouble. Thanks to everybody else for your participation today. Wonderful. Am I being sarcastic? Maybe a little bit. Just a little bit. So she says, he's a go-all-out soccer fan. I like it, but this is great, Chris. We can learn. This is how we learn. To go all out is not usually used as an adjective. In fact, it sounds kind of strange, but he goes all out with football, or I would say it more like that instead of using it as an adjective. To go all out, darlo todo. I love it. Not the one we're looking for. All right. Well, we were just talking about a movie with Bruce Willis in it, right? Unbreakable, which we're going to look at the scene in a moment. Unbreakable with Bruce Willis. Think of another Bruce Willis one that is horribly translated. The Glass Jungle. Jungla de Cristal? Are we going somewhere with this now or what? All right, well, let's look at the movie and we'll see if anybody can figure it out with that clue. So, el título de Jungla de Cristal en inglés. Hay algo ahí Something about, let me get, te voy a dar esta pista, más fácil aún. Él es un fan de fútbol a muerte. Y muero por ir a la final. Y muere, no yo. Bueno, también, pero muere. Ahora, now does it make a little, now you feel what I'm putting out there? All right, well, let's look at the scene from Unbreakable over here. This is a scene with Elijah and David. And Elijah says, it has begun. Ha empezado. It has begun. Tell me something, David. Dime algo, David. When you woke up this morning, was it still there? Was it? No, it's wasi. Was it? Was it still there? The sadness? La tristeza? And David says, no. And Elijah says, I think this is where we shake hands, donde nos damos la mano. And they exchange a handshake, okay? Un apretón de manos, a handshake. And then Elijah says, as he's having a flashback and he's shaking, temblando, he says, I worked in that building 25 years. I know all its secrets. Sé todos los secretos. And David says, secrets? And Elijah says, like, if there ever was a fire, si hubiese un incendio, on floors 1, 2, or 3, everyone in that hotel would be burned alive. Okay? Chamuscado. Hasta la muerte, no? And then the flashback ends, and Elijah says, you know what the scariest thing is? To not know your place in this world. No saber tu sitio, tu lugar en este mundo. To not know why you're here. No saber por qué estás aquí. That's just an awful feeling. Awful lo usamos mucho más que terrible. Menos sílabas. Easier to say. It's awful. Awful. Me lo acabo de inventar ahí. Esa sí que no la usamos. It's an awful feeling. Terrible. And David says, what have you done? ¿Qué has hecho? And Elijah says, I almost gave up hope. Casi dejo la esperanza. There were so many times I questioned myself. Que dudé de mí mismo. And David says, you killed all those people. And Elijah says, but I found you. So many sacrifices just to find you. And David says, oh, Jesus Christ. And Elijah answers, now that we know who you are, and I know who I am, I'm not a mistake. No soy un error que ha pasado. No, estoy aquí por algo. It all makes sense. We don't say it has sense. We say in English, it makes sense. In a comic, you know how you can tell who the arch villain is going to be? Okay, arch enemy, arch villain. He's the exact opposite of the hero. Okay, el opuesto total del héroe. And most times, they're friends. Like you and me. I should have known, debería haber sabido. I should have known way back when, en aquel entonces. You know why, David? Because of the kids. They call me Mr. Glass. Again, it's a movie. I'm not a big fan of the director, but this is before he really started sucking. We talked about molarse la leche is to rule, but to suck is to be the worst. All right, Chris is going to she's going back for round 2 at today's Spelling Bee over here. Let's see what you've got here, Chris. He's a die-hard soccer fan. Y lo único te voy a cambiar, en vez de he dies to go to the final, lo pondríamos en gerundio. He is dying. Muere por ir ahí. No, he's dying to go to the final. All right, but you got it. Excellent. Unbreakable. Chris is unbreakable. So she said, he's a die-hard soccer fan. Ahí lo tienes. La película Jungla de Cristal en inglés se llama Die Hard. La segunda, Die Hard with a Vengeance. ¿A qué mola más? Y tiene el doble sentido, like, you're not going to kill him easily. I'm McClane, John McClane. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. You know, that's the famous line. Yippee-ki-yay is como, woohoo! you? Como qué bien me lo estoy pasando. It's obviously sarcasm, right? ¿Cómo lo dice en español esa frase famosa de Jungla de Cristal? Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Así es, yeah. Classic line. Classic character. And in English, it's called Die Hard, porque va a muerte por ella, right? So it's a perfect name for a movie. And I'm dying to do something. Es muero por hacer algo. Lo hemos, como hemos dicho en el gerundio. So he's a die-hard soccer fan. And he's dying to go to the final. Excellent job. And now we're going to go right into famous birthday trivia.
Famous birthdays for you. Famous birthdays for me. Famous birthdays for everyone on the show with no name. Birthdays for him. Famous birthdays for her. Famous birthdays for everyone on the show with no name.
That's right, amigos. Famous birthdays only on the show with no name. Let's see if you know who's celebrating a birthday today. In the first person, come on, I just said his name. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Also, he's John McClane. But he was also, I remember he got famous on a show with Sybil Shepherd. And it was a sitcom called Moonlighting. It aired from 1985 to 1989. I don't know if it was popular here, but this catapulted this guy into stardom. They were like, he's charismatic, he's funny, he's a badass, un malote, you know? And the rest was history. He became John McClane after that in the Die Hard franchise, which went from 1988 to 2013. He was also in The Last Boy Scout, Pulp Fiction, 12 Monkeys, Unbreakable, today's Name That Movie, The Sixth Sense, another classic line. It's not his. I see dead people. Armageddon. He was also in The Whole Nine Yards. Qué peliculón, ¿eh? Y eso es una expresión. Y todo eso, todo lo que conlleva. The Whole Nine Yards. Sin City. The Expendables. Red. Looper. I mean, the guy's been in everything. Now, unfortunately, recently, he had a downturn in his health, and he has not been acting. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, something like he was talking about selling the AI rights to use him. No, vender the IA. Remember, we say it the other way around. You say IA, we say AI, AI, FYI. Estamos con muchas abreviaturas. All right, the second person was born in 1937, an R&B blues singer and pianist. And he's got one of the most famous songs in that genre. You've all heard it, I think, in commercials and movies. Ain't got no home, nowhere to go. I ain't got no home. I'm a lonely boy. I'm a lonely boy. I ain't got no mother. I ain't got no father. And it's cool because if you haven't heard that song, you got to listen to it. Ain't got no home. We'll find out his name in a minute. He does three different parts to the song. The first part, he sings it like himself. He had a raspy voice like this. The second part, he does it like a girl. I ain't got no home. I ain't got no. So it's actually like a funny song, too. And the last one, he does like a frog. I'm a lonely boy. I ain't got no. And I guess that's why his nickname is Frogman. Okay? Oh, he was born in Nolens. What? Nolens, New Orleans, como lo dicen ellos. Hay gente que dice New Orleans, hay gente que dice New Orleans, y luego están ellos, Nolens. We're down in Nolens. I know, I've been there and I have friends from there. They say Nolens. They don't say New Orleans or New Orleans. Because people are like, is it New Orleans or New Orleans? You want to ask them, it doesn't sound like either one of those. Nolens. All right, so that is number 2. And number 3, this guy, speaking of unintelligible, I was preparing today's Say What soundbite, and I literally had to put on headphones and really focus to get this down here. So it's no wonder that today's Say What soundbite was really tough. It's this guy, a British prop comedian, actually Welsh, galés, and props mean que usaba cosas como atrezo de esto, ¿no? And siempre tenía como cosillas. Mira, esta bolsa, te voy a hacer un truco. Always had stuff in his hands. And I wasn't too familiar with him, but as soon as I saw him, because he wore this funny hat on his head, and he did this kind of silly, goofy comedy with magic. And, he abused drinking and smoking, and it affected not only his health, but his career as well. And instead of having his own show like he used to have, he just did guest stars. And at 63, he died after he suffered a heart attack on live TV. What? Yeah, talk about an interesting story. All right, today's 3 famous birthdays. Number 1, Bruce Willis. Number 2, Clarence Frogman Henry. And number 3, Tommy Cooper. Hey, a British comedian. Well, Welsh won't talk like this. And Tommy Cooper was the guy in today's Say What soundbite. Now, again, don't feel bad that you didn't get this. It was really, really difficult. And he says, here's a little trick I'd like to show you now. Okay, ahora sabiendo que va a decir, ahora lo escuchamos otra vez. Here's a little trick I'd like to show you now. It's a very famous egg and bag trick. Chris, you said bag. Buen ojo. Buen oído. Good ear. It's a very famous egg and bag trick. Here's the egg. Here's the bag. And he puts it in the bag. It's not a trick. And then he scratches his tooth, un diente, and he goes, my teeth itch. Me pican los dientes. My teeth itch. That's weird. Nobody says that. It's a joke. He goes, so I went to the dentist. Chris, you heard another word for that D word. Dance. You heard dance. Well, he says I went to the dentist. I went to the dentist, and he said my teeth were all right. Que mis dientes estaban bien. But my gums have to come out. Pero tiene que extraer mis encías. All right, so let me give it to you all again. Here's a little trick I'd like to show you now. It's a very famous egg and bag trick. Here's the egg. Here's the bag. My teeth itch. I went to the dentist. He said my teeth were all right, but my gums have got to come out. Here he is, Tommy Cooper.
Here's a little trick I'd like to show you now. It's a very famous egg and bag trick. Here's the egg, here's the bag. My teeth itch. I went to the dentist. He said my teeth are all right, but my gum's going to come out.
Hi, hello, Alberto. I think the song is... No? Sorry, bye.
Name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. Name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. It's name that lyric only on the show with no name.
That's right, amigos. It's Name That Lyric only on the show with no name. And as always, thank you, show with no namers. And stay tuned. You've got Ximena Holiday and Nacho up next with Test Your English. And the song is, we're going to look at Ain't Got No Home. Es que es una doble negación. I don't have. I ain't got. Ahora, no hablas como él. Again, it's music. But that ain't is a negative thing, and it doesn't make you sound smart. Let's put it that way. That's why I teach my students what ain't is, but I tell them, you ain't going to use it in my class. No lo vas. O sea, it doesn't sound like you're educated when you use it. But again, this is music. They're not supposed to sound that way. So he goes, I ain't got no home. He goes, I ain't got no home, no place to roam, ningún sitio donde deambular. I ain't got no home. And he repeats that, I'm a lonely boy. I ain't got no home. He goes, and then he goes, he goes, I got a voice. And he sings like a girl. I got a voice. I sing like a girl. And I sing like a frog. I'm a lonely boy. So again, he creates these 3 different characters in the song, and it's brilliant. If you have not heard this song, put it on your playlist. It's fun. It'll put you in a good mood, guaranteed. It's one of those songs that when you hear it, you're like, oh, life is good. So it's a great song. I recommend you all 2 things today. Listen to this song and give somebody a hug. A real hug, not like a, give me un abracito. I mean, give them a real hug. Make them feel good. And thank you. I'll send you guys a virtual hug over here. And thanks so much for joining us. And I think you guys will recognize the beginning of the song. Woo, 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 woo.
Ooh, ain't got no home.
Sing it.
No place to roll.
Wow.
Ain't